You've killed another plant, standing there holding a dried out pot, wondering what you did wrong. Too much water, not enough, wrong soil, wrong light. The cycle is exhausting. But here's what nobody in the gardening industry wants you to figure out. Some of the most beautiful, thriving plants on Earth don't need soil at all. They never did. They've been growing in plain water since your grandmother's time, on windowsills and old jam jars, quietly proving everyone wrong. 15 plants, no soil, no mess, no excuses. Stay until the end. Number 15 is already sitting in your kitchen. Subscribe to Nature Unearthed. This changes everything. Section 1. Pothos. The plant that laughs at neglect. You forget to water it for 3 weeks. It's fine. You stick it in a dark corner. Still fine. You drop a cutting in a glass of tap water and ignore it. 2 weeks later, a root system so dense it looks like an underwater forest growing inside your kitchen glass. That's pothos. Called devil's ivy because it genuinely cannot be killed, this plant develops specialized water roots that are biologically distinct from its soil roots. Permanent structures built specifically for aquatic life, confirmed by hydroponic research worldwide. Other plants adapt to water. Pothos was already waiting for you to figure out that water was enough. Section 2. Lucky bamboo. The 1,000-year deception. Everything about lucky bamboo is a lie. And somehow, that makes it more fascinating. It isn't bamboo, not even slightly. It's Dracaena sanderiana, a Central African plant that has been quietly impersonating bamboo in Asian homes and businesses for over 1,000 years, growing in nothing but water and pebbles. The pebbles aren't nutrition. They're just there to stop it falling over. Those elegant stalks, sometimes twisted into spirals, sometimes braided into towers, can live for years in the same container, growing taller, pushing new leaves, asking for almost nothing. You aren't growing a plant. You're maintaining a living sculpture that maintains itself. Section 3. Philodendron. What your great-grandmother already knew. There's something quietly humbling about this one. Everything you've spent on soil mixes, fertilizer pellets, and terracotta drainage setups. Your great-grandmother solved the same problem with a jam jar and tap water. Honey and Hartley philodendron has been rooting on kitchen windowsills for generations. The science finally caught up with what she already knew. These plants develop robust, permanent aquatic root systems that sustain growth indefinitely without a single grain of soil. The roots don't look like they're waiting to be transplanted. They look like they belong exactly where they are. Sometimes the oldest solution is the one worth returning to. Section 4. Spider plant. It does the work for you. Most plants make you do everything. Take the cutting, find the node, wait for roots. Not the spider plant. This one hands you babies. Long arching stems extend outward, and at the tips, tiny perfect plantlets dangle like ornaments, each one already equipped with the beginning of a root system, already trying to grow. A NASA famously studied spider plants for their air-purifying properties in sealed environments. But the more useful fact is simpler. Drop one of those plantlets into a glass of water, and within a week those root nubs triple in length. The plant does the propagating, you just provide the glass. Section 5. Peace lily, the elegant one. With a secret walk through any hospital, any corporate lobby, any hotel reception with tasteful, calming greenery. Somewhere in that room, almost certainly, there's a peace lily, chosen for elegance, chosen for reliability. But here's what the interior designers arranging those displays probably don't know. Spathiphyllum grows naturally on tropical forest floors where the soil never fully dries out. It has always preferred living at the edge of too much water. That makes it a surprisingly natural candidate for water culture. Transition takes patience. Wash the roots, change water frequently in the early weeks, allow new aquatic roots to establish, then stand back. The white blooms keep coming. The dignity stays intact. Section 6. Monstera. Everybody's wrong about this one. Here's a conversation you can have at any plant shop. Point at the Monstera. Ask if it can grow in water. Watch the expression on the staff member's face. Skepticism, maybe a polite correction, maybe a firm no. They're wrong. Monstera deliciosa spends its life in tropical rainforests, developing thick aerial roots that cling to trees and absorb moisture directly from humid air. No soil required. Those same roots transform into powerful water roots when submerged. A cutting with one aerial root, iron placed in a large container with liquid fertilizer added every 2 weeks, will keep producing those iconic split leaves indefinitely. The most famous houseplant in the world doesn't actually need what you think it needs. Section 7. English ivy, the one that never should have been forgotten. Somewhere in England, there are glass bottles on cottage windowsills that have had ivy growing in them for 40 years. The original owner placed a cutting in water sometime in the 1980s. It rooted, it grew. Nobody moved it, it's still there. Heterohelix has aerial roots evolved for clinging to stone walls and tree bark, roots that adapt to water culture with almost no resistance. Within a week of placing a cutting in water, you see the nubs. Within a month, cascading vines trail from wherever you've positioned the container. When this practice didn't fade because it stopped working. It faded because nobody could profit from it. Section 8. Coleus. Tuesday cutting, Friday roots. Tuesday morning, you drop a Coleus cutting in water. No particular expectations. Just curious. Friday comes. You check the glass. Root threads are already there, reaching outward from the node. You didn't imagine it. Coleus roots in 3 to 5 days in water, a speed that seems impossible until you watch it happen yourself. And then the color situation. Those leaves, burgundy edged with lime, purple striped with cream, red bleeding into gold, don't mute in water culture. They intensify. Hydroponic growers have documented it. Something about the clean water environment and adequate light pushes the pigment deeper. By the second week, you have a rooted, vivid, growing plant. From a Tuesday experiment. Section 9. Arrowhead plant, the one that won't slow down. You want a water culture plant that moves fast enough to feel rewarding? This is it. Arrowhead plant naturally grows aerial roots along every stem, tiny structures that exist for exactly one purpose: finding moisture. The moment a cutting touches water, those roots don't need to form. They're already there. They activate. Within days, you have visible growth. Within 2 weeks, a root system fills the container. Within a month, fresh arrow-shaped leaves are unfurling above the surface with that distinctive variegated green and white pattern. Some growers mark the container weekly just to track progress. It's that satisfying. Growth you can see, growth you can measure, growth that doesn't stop. Our Section 10. Dracaena, the plant for people who don't want drama. Not every plant on this list is about speed and spectacle. Some people don't want spectacle. They want a living thing that quietly exists in their space, stays healthy, asks nothing, and looks good doing it for years. Dracaena marginata is that plant. It grows slowly. It changes little week to week, but it has lived in water for years in homes around the world, stable and unbothered. One non-negotiable: use filtered or distilled water. Fluoride in standard tap water triggers leaf tip browning in Dracaena, a symptom that gets misdiagnosed as disease, overwatering, or bad light for months before the real cause is found. One small adjustment: years of peace. Section 11. Prayer plant, a plant that moves with the day. This one surprises people who've only ever kept still plants. You set up a prayer plant cutting in water by your window. 2 weeks pass. Roots establish. New leaves begin emerging. And then you notice something happening that no other plant on this list does. Every evening, without fail, the leaves fold upward, slowly, deliberately, like hands pressing together before sleep. Every morning they open again. This movement, called nyctinasty, happens through pressure changes in specialized cells at the base of each leaf. In water culture, where the evaporating surface keeps local humidity high, this rhythm continues naturally. You stop thinking of it as a decoration. You start thinking of it as a presence. Section 12. Purple heart. Set it up in the morning. Check back tonight. To be honest with yourself, you don't actually believe a plant can grow visible roots in a single day. That skepticism is reasonable. It's also wrong. Cut a stem of purple heart. Trade Scantia pallida, thick and succulent, every inch saturated with that deep imperial purple, and place it in water before breakfast. Go to work, come home, look at the glass. The roots are there. Not imagined, not microscopic. Actual, extending, white root filaments reaching into the water. Propagation science has documented why. Purple heart carries some of the most reactive meristematic tissue of any ornamental plant alive. The color deepens toward near black in strong light. The roots arrive before your skepticism has time to recover. Section 13. Mint, the herb that rewards you for taking from it. Every other plant on this list asks you to be careful. Or take too much, prune too aggressively, harvest too soon, and you'll set it back. Mint operates on a completely different contract. The more you take, the more it gives. Harvest leaves for tea on Monday. By Wednesday, new growth has already replaced what you took. Studies on hydroponic herb cultivation have confirmed something that sounds counterintuitive. Mint grown in water often produces higher concentrations of essential oils than soil-grown varieties, meaning the flavor is actually stronger from a glass jar on your counter than from a garden bed outside. Contained, productive, more flavorful than the alternative. That's a genuinely strange deal in your favor. Section 14. Basil, fresher than anything in the grocery store. You know that basil from the grocery store? The kind that wilts within 2 days, leaves yellowing at the edges, and the whole bunch turning slimy by Thursday? Forget it. A basil cutting rooted in water on your kitchen windowsill, given the brightest light you have and diluted liquid fertilizer once a week, produces leaves continuously for months. Each time you harvest from the top, the plant branches below and grows denser. Research has confirmed that hydroponically grown basil produces higher concentrations of the volatile compounds responsible for that signature aroma, meaning water-grown basil is measurably more flavorful than store-bought. Change the water every 3 to 4 days. The natural leaf oils cloud it quickly. Then just cook with what you grow. Section 15. Sweet potato vine. Start with what's already in your kitchen. Go to your pantry, right now, today, before you buy a single thing. Find a sweet potato, organic if possible, because conventional ones are often sprayed with sprout inhibitors designed specifically to stop what you're about to do. Place it pointy end down in a jar, submerge the bottom half in water, put it near a window. Walk away. Within a week, roots thread downward from the base. Within 2 weeks, shoots press upward from the top. Within a month, trailing vines with heart-shaped leaves cascade down from the jar. Lush, full, spectacular. The potato isn't a vegetable anymore. It's an engine packed with stored energy, doing exactly what it was biologically designed to do. No purchase required, no expertise needed, just something you already own. Water, light, and a little patience. Here's the thing nobody says out loud. Gardening was never supposed to be complicated. For most of human history, people grew beautiful plants with whatever containers they had and whatever water was nearby. Somewhere along the way, an entire industry built itself on convincing you that you needed more. More products, more equipment, more expertise. These 15 plants are the quiet proof that it was never true. You don't need soil. You never did. Now you know what most people walking through garden centers will never figure out. If that matters to you, subscribe to Nature Unearthed and share this with someone who's killed one too many plants and deserves a simpler way. Tell us below, which plant are you starting with today?